Hey guys, hey, how y'all doing? Is you doing? Because today is Tuesday and I'm doing-ish. My tattoo is doing well. Sorry about my hand in the way. Sorry. I am experiencing some swelling and stuff. I have a little video that I'll attach to this last one over here. Yeah. So I thought something, and one of my friends sent me a text message, and it got me to thinking, and I thought I'd come on here for just a minute or two, and which is never a minute or two. I should never say a minute or two. It's always 15 to 20 minutes because I never know when to shut up. So, if the situation with me in the hospital, would it have been different had I been thin? What is the bias that medical professionals have over somebody who is severely overweight compared to somebody who is not overweight? I have noticed over the last 4 years, it's going on 4 years in August, okay? So I can pretty easily say 4 years. Over the last 4 years, the way that I have been treated in the medical, is completely different. At first, I was really pitied, and I had to change doctors quite a bit. At the very beginning of Matthew's career, when he first went into the military, and I was in Woodbridge, Virginia, I was unable to get a military doctor to do my gastric bypass. I had seen several. Now, there was Belvoir, there was, oh gosh, I can't remember. It's the really big one in Virginia. Somebody else write it down below, because I know a few of you were actually there. Belvoir was brand new, and it was like maybe 10 miles up the street. It had just been built, like it had just been operational. Now, I had gone to their ER quite a bit because I used to have constant UTIs. No Nirvana. But they were really nice to me for the most part, but they would not do my surgery. What it was is TRICARE at that particular time was not paying for the sleeve anywhere that I was going. And they were also not doing anybody who weighed over 400 pounds. So I was immediately shut down just trying to make an appointment. They were like, how much do you weigh? Because they ask, kind of a series of questions. And I just wanted to get in to talk to somebody. And a lot of the places that I went to wouldn't even bother to talk to me. So I had to find a different surgeon outside of the military, a civilian surgeon, to take me because I was over 500 pounds. You have to understand, being over 500 pounds, there's a lot of risk. And there's a lot of... they worry about your heart and your lungs and, all that good stuff. Now, a lot of you don't remember or haven't been on my channel long enough to know that I smoked for 13 years. I stopped smoking in 2009, close to 2000, almost the end, May of 2009. I stopped smoking because I was wheezing all the time and my husband hated it. Clear, simple, easy breezy. That was it. He was like, I don't want to be with somebody who is killing themselves. He's like, I can't stand being with somebody who tastes like an ashtray. And even though I was, conscious enough to know that it was bad for me and I shouldn't do it, I was addicted at the time. And it was the fear of what it would feel like to quit, because you always hear these horror stories of people who quit smoking and how they have these horrible headaches and how the withdrawal is so terrible and you gain so much weight. There's always this stigma against almost damn near anything that's bad for you that you're going to give up, it's the fear of the unknown that had me the worst. I was like, oh God, I don't want to feel sick. I don't want to But finally, my husband had enough, and he was like, if you're going to kill yourself, I'm not going to stay here and watch it. He's like, I love you more than anything, but I need you to work on your health. And I did, and I quit. And I have Never went back. That doesn't mean that I don't have cravings for a cigarette, but I can tell you some things about it, that when I smell people smoking, like outside of a bar, or yesterday we passed this restaurant, and I guess they allow smoking in there, and it's nauseating. The smell of somebody who smokes is so overpowering for me now. Like I can't even imagine what I smelled like back then. I actually feel really sad that I stank. And I'm not passing any judgment on anybody on here that smokes. I'm just telling you from my own personal opinion and how I feel about it now, as I did for 13 years. I never knew how bad I stank. I didn't know that my glasses were tinted a yellow color, because the nicotine, and my fingers were stained yellow, my nails were stained, my teeth are still, not as white as they could be because of coffee and smoking for so long. And it rotted my teeth, and I've had like 6 crowns done. I've got a bunch of cavities and stuff, and I know you guys don't really want to look at my damn teeth, but I'm making an emphasis. It recedes to my gums, gingivitis, stuff like that. Even though I brush my teeth, I've always brushed my teeth. I've never been one to not, just leave. I floss constantly. There's never a time I don't have a piece of floss in my purse, or, actually I usually have 2 or 3 of those little flossers in my purse, because I can't stand anything getting stuck in my teeth meats, in my gum meats. Can't stand it. Where the hell was I going with that tangent? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I remember, the lung function tests and stuff like that I had to go through, and I do have asthma. I had childhood asthma, and it's just followed me and was worse when I was getting off the cigarettes and stuff like that. And then, people tell you, oh, you're going to cough up all this black stuff and it's going to be horrible, and it's good. I never did that. I didn't cough up horrible stuff. Actually, it was 2 weeks after I quit, I noticed that I could breathe again. I used to get bronchitis 2 or 3 times a year. I mean, it was killing me. And so, because I was a smoker and stuff like that, I had to have, an echo on my heart, and I had to have stress tests and all kinds of crazy shit to get my gastric bypass. And luckily, thankful to, the higher powers, that I was actually able to pass all that. But there is a huge difference between how I was treated back then compared to how I'm treated right now. When people see me in the ER, or when, I'm being seen by a different doctor, I still have that kind of you're overweight stigma that has followed me, but it's nothing like when I was over 500 pounds and was in a wheelchair. It was nothing as... It's a completely different feeling from, the person looking at you with almost pity and disgust. And I think for me now, because I look more average, even though I am really heavy, to me, when I see myself, I look more like a normal body type, because I'm so tall. Most people would not guess that I weigh over 300 pounds. If I was to ask you guys how old I am, and I was to ask you how much I weigh, most people would think that I was in my, late 20s, early 30s. I wish. And they would say that, I thought you were 2 something, 270 to whatever, 260, 250, because I'm just really, really tall. But I'm not trying to, that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make now is that even though, as I've progressed through the years and I've lost weight and then gained weight and then lost weight, there is a huge difference from the way I'm treated, especially from, the gynecological aspect of it. Because I'm overweight, they never really talk about why I can't get pregnant. They really don't talk about, when I would go in there and tell them how bad my periods were. It's because your weight. Why can't you get pregnant? It's because your weight. Like if somebody else came in there that was, you know, a normal BMI, and I've seen it happen because I have relatives and stuff that have gone in there and friends who have had the same issues, and they're prescribed this and that, and they're trying this and that, and they're, you know, maybe we need exploratory surgery to go in there and look and see if you have this, or, you know, maybe we need to clear out your ovaries. There's more willingness on the doctor's end to help somebody when they're thin, in my opinion, especially in that avenue, than there is for somebody who is my size or bigger, because they immediately throw up your fat tag. And I've always felt that way. It's an instant, well, you're fat, so everything that you're coming here for is stemming from the fact that you're fat. And if you weren't fat, then you wouldn't have any of these issues, which is not fucking true. And you guys know this because, you know, especially, okay, so let's even skip past that. So I've had depression, anxiety, panic attacks, agoraphobia, and PTSD, and my ADD, way before I was 500 pounds. I've had most of these issues since I was a kid. Like, I remember asking my parents back when there was only charter, and that was, you know, the only real mental hospital I even knew of back in the day, to take me and get me some help when I was real little, when I was probably like, you know, before even puberty. And that was just not something you did. You know, back in the day, that was not something talked about. It was even more of a taboo than it is now. You don't talk about mental health back then. You don't tell anybody that you're having these issues, and, you know, they were kind of just swept underneath the rug. It was a serious cry for help. You know, I knew that I was suffering from things that, you know, I knew was not right in the very beginning. And the way I was treated, the bigger I got, it all came back to the fat tag. When I would tell, you know, the nurse or something, like, I went to Job Corps. I don't know if many of you know that I went to Job Corps when I was 19. And, like, there was a point when I was in Job Corps to where I was so unhappy and so unhealthy mentally because of what I was going through there. One day I'll go through that. I'm not ready to talk about that. That it is very traumatic for me. That I was cutting myself a lot in Job Corps. And the guy that was supposed to be mother-in-law taking out the trash, hey girl, hey. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so when the nurses found out what I was doing and stuff like that, and they sent me to the health counselor, he was like, so do you know, you need to lose some weight. And I was like, what the hell does that have to do with the fact that I'm being bullied, that I'm being stolen from, that I'm being hit, that, you know, I want to go home and I'm being trapped here. I can't go into that story right now. I literally just cannot go into that part of my psyche right now. I'm not ready for it. But it was the fat tag. It was the little, you know, the little sign, you know, above my head that everything that is wrong with me stems from being overweight. Well, I've lost over 200 pounds and I still have the exact same freaking issues. So are you going to tell me that, you know, once I hit 200 pounds and I've lost 300 pounds, or if I lost 325 pounds, or if I've lost 350 pounds, or shit, if I lost 400 pounds and I'd be dead, are you telling me then none of these issues that I have with my, you know, gynecological issues, the fact I can't get pregnant, the fact that I have all these mental issues that I've had since I was a kid, all of these things are going to magically go away because I have a BMI of 25? Is that what you're going to tell me? Because that's the way you're treated. I have been treated most of my life as, well, you're fat. That's all that's wrong with you. If you weren't fat, nothing would be wrong with you. I don't think that's true. I think that is that doctors need to, and, you know, nurses and stuff like that need to be more compassionate and realize that obesity is an epidemic. Over 900,000 bariatric surgeries have been performed since 2011. 900,000. 1,000. It is more likely for you to know more than one person with a bariatric surgery in your family than it is now than it ever has been. I have 4 or 5. I'm not talking about surgeries. I have, though. I'm talking about, like, people in my family wanting, thinking about, or having bariatric surgery. It is more common. It is more commonplace for people. And I was just reading a damn thing this morning where this they're talking about giving the sleeve to people who are, you know, like fucking 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old. In my very humble opinion, I would not have been healthy or grown up enough to deal with bariatric surgery as a kid. Now, I know that it could have turned my life around. It could have made my life a lot better, da-da-da-da-da. We could get into that all day long. In my opinion, I don't think mentally I could have dealt with having to restrict my calories to how much I'd be able to eat, having the strictures that I did, having the, you know, pain and all the stuff that I've gone through. Had I been only like 19, you know, 17, 18, 19 years old, I don't think I could have survived it. I don't think that I would have had the mental faculties to deal with as much as I've gone through. Now, I'm not saying, because I'm treating it as if, you know, I had the exact same stuff to happen to me when I was, you know, 30 some odd compared to now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, because I was 35 when I had my my gastric bypass. I don't think I would have survived and been okay had I been 20 some odd years younger. I think the regain that I'm having now would have absolutely killed me. I think that I would have, you know, it would have been faster and longer, and, you know, there wasn't enough information back then. And, you know, I don't think that's healthy. I think that, you know, a regimen of showing people like me, you know what I'm saying, and showing people, other people in the weight loss community that have struggled, to people who are overweight right now, I think it's important to educate. I mean, educate. Because had I known, and I've told you guys that before, had I known all this stuff when I was a kid, you know, I think that I could have negated a lot of what I had to go through. I really do. So I know I kind of got off on a weird tangent, but I really do think the medical, you know, if you're labeled as overweight, like, you are definitely treated differently. Had what happened to me the other day when I went into the hospital, had I been thinner, had I not had any of the mental things on my chart, I don't think I would have been treated like that. I think she would have been more helpful. I think she wouldn't have looked at me like, you know, I was just seeking drugs. I think she would have talked to me with more compassion. I think she would have taken her time with me and treated me like a human being. But because I was overweight, because I have mental issues that are listed, because I don't lie about my stuff, you know what I'm saying? I don't hide who I am. That's not who I am anymore. I don't have to hide that, you know, I'm not embarrassed that I have depression. All right, guys, well, I'm going to get off of here. I've rambled, and then I was talking to my mother-in-law for a minute. I've yammered for quite a while, and then you'll see a little update on my tattoo. I love your beautiful, gorgeous, amazing faces. I hope everybody's having a brilliant start of your week, and I will talk to you probably tomorrow. Bye. Hi guys, so I thought I would show you day 2 after washing it. I bought some Neutrogena unscented soap at Walmart, fragrance free soap, and I washed it, and then you put a very, very thin layer of your ointment of choice. Now, a lot of people use A&D ointment, and I do have some, but because of how red it still is, I don't know if you guys can see, and this is normal, okay, this is very normal. Consider this like a huge wound, because it is. I told you guys that before. This is like a gigantic wound, and this is your body's defense. Like if you were to scrape, you know, like have road rash, or, you know, your body would swell in defense of bringing water down to it. So I don't want anybody to think that, oh my God, your leg's infected, because it's not. But I'm taking every precaution needed by washing it really well, 2 or 3 times a day, keeping ice on it off and on, using Bactitracin, which I'll show you again. I showed you last night. This has zinc in it. It's a antibiotic. You don't put Neosporin on these because Neosporin has petroleum in it. This does not. Petroleum will take out your color. I'm only using this for probably another day or 2, and then I'll switch over to this, which I talked over with my I want to say surgeon on the brain, with my tattooist, and he said this is great stuff. I did some research before getting it, and it's called Hustle Butter, and it's luxury tattoo care, and it smells really good, and it's really silky. It's an after lotion, and I'll be using this, not now obviously, and you get a lot. I think I paid like, I want to say I paid like $10, $11, $12 on Amazon for this, and it's big, but it's a big tattoo. Like I said, he was ready to give me a tattoo all the way up here, and I was like, hey, why don't we just, a little lower, sir, just a little smaller. I absolutely love this. By the way, if you ain't washed your hands, don't touch your tattoo. Like, open wound, open wound. This means so much to me. I've been dreaming of a tattoo like this for a very long time, and been planning this one for over a year of exactly what I wanted, and it's so beautiful. I love it so much. And then of course, you know, I left the space for my revision and hopefully one day children of some sort, whether it be mine or someone else's that I happen to learn to love as my own. One way or the other, I'm having kids. I'm in awe of it. I'm very lucky, and I love it so much. So I will get on with the rest of the video.